Chapter 3. Karun pocketed the keys and took off his watch. It was a Seiko Quartz LC with a built-in calculator below the digital face, 24 tiny buttons that would allow him to do everything from addition to subtraction to square roots. A delicate piece of machinery, and just as important, a chronometer. Karun put it down in front of Portal 1 and pushed it through with a pencil. He ran across and grabbed it. When he put it through, the watch had said 11:31:07. It now said 11:31:49. Very good. Right on the money. Only he should have had an assistant over there to peg the fact that there had been no time gain once and forever. Well, no matter. Soon enough the government would have him wading hip-deep in assistance. He tried the calculator. 2 and 2 still made 4, 8 divided by 4 was still 2, the square root of 11 was still 3.3166247, and so on. That was when he decided it was mouse time. "What happened with the mice, Dad?" Ricky asked. Mark hesitated briefly. There would have to be some caution here, if he didn't want to scare his children, not to mention his wife, into hysteria minutes away from their first jaunt. The major thing was to leave them with the knowledge that everything was all right now, and that the problem had been licked. As I said, there was a slight problem. Yes, horror, lunacy, and death. How's that for a slight problem, kids? Karun set the box, which read, "I came from Stackpole's House of Pets," down on the shelf and glanced at his watch. Damned if he hadn't put the thing on upside down. He turned it around and saw that it was 1:45. He had only an hour and a quarter of computer time left. How the time flies when you're having fun, he thought, and giggled wildly. He opened the box, reached in, and pulled out a squeaking white mouse by the tail. He put it down in front of Portal 1 and said, "Go on, mouse." The mouse promptly ran down the side of the orange crate on which the portal stood and scattered across the floor. Cursing, Karun chased it and managed to actually get one hand on it before it squirmed through a crack between 2 boards and was gone. "Shit!" Karun screamed and ran back to the box of mice. He was just in time to knock 2 potential escapees back into the box. He got a second mouse, holding this one around the body. He was, by trade, a physicist, and the ways of white mice were foreign to him, and slammed the lid of the box back down. This one he gave the old heave-ho. It clutched at Karun's palm, but to no avail. It went head over ratty little paws through the Portal 1. Karun heard it immediately land on the crates across the barn. This time he sprinted, remembering how easily the first mouse had eluded him. He need not have worried. The white mouse merely crouched on the crate, its eyes dull, its sides aspirating weakly. Karun slowed down and approached it carefully. He was not a man used to fooling with mice, but you didn't have to be a 40-year veteran to see something was terribly wrong here. The mouse didn't feel so good after it went through. Mark Otez told his children with a wide smile that was only noticeably false to his wife. Karun touched the mouse. It was like touching something inert, packed straw or sawdust, perhaps, except for the aspirating sides. The mouse did not look around at Karun. It stared straight ahead. He had thrown in a squirming, very frisky and alive little animal. Here was something that seemed to be a living waxwork likeness of a mouse. Then Karun snapped his fingers in front of the mouse's small pink eyes. It blinked and fell dead on its side. So Karun decided to try another mouse, Mark said. "What happened to the first mouse?" Ricky asked. Mark produced that wide smile again. "It was retired with full honors," he said. Karun found a paper bag and put the mouse into it. He would take it to Moscone, the vet, that evening. Moscone could dissect it and tell him if its inner works had been rearranged. The government would disapprove his bringing a private citizen into a project which would be classified triple-top secret as soon as they knew about it. Tough Titty, as the kitty was reputed to have said to the babes who complained about the warmth of the milk. Karun was determined that the Great White Father in Washington would know about this as late in the game as possible. For all the scant help the Great White Father had given him, he could wait. Tough titty. Then he remembered that Moscone lived way the hell and gone on the other side of New Paltz, and that there wasn't enough gas in the brat to even get halfway across town, let alone back. But it was 2:03. He had less than an hour of computer time left. He would worry about the goddamn dissection after. Karun constructed a makeshift chute leading to the entrance of Portal 1, really the first jaunt slide. Mark told the children, and Patty found the idea of a jaunt slide for mice deliciously funny, and dropped a fresh white mouse into it. He blocked the end with a large book, and after a few moments of aimless pattering and sniffling, the mouse went through the portal and disappeared. Karun ran back across the barn. The mouse was DOA. There was no blood, no bodily swelling to indicate that a radical change in the pressure had ruptured something inside. Karun supposed that oxygen starvation might... He shook his head impatiently. It took the white mouse only nanoseconds to go through. His own watch had confirmed that time remained a constant in the process, or damn close to it. The second white mouse joined the first in the paper sack. Karun got a third out, a fourth if you counted the fortunate mouse that had escaped through the crack, wondering for the first time which would end first, his computer time or his supply of mice. He held this one firmly around the body and forced its haunches through the portal. Across the room he saw the haunches reappear. Just the haunches. The disembodied little feet were digging frantically at the rough wood of the crate. Karun pulled the mouse back. No catatonia here. It bit the wedding between his thumb and forefinger hard enough to bring blood. Karun dropped the mouse hurriedly back into the "I came from Stackpole's House of Pets" box and used the small bottle of hydrogen peroxide in his lab first aid kit to disinfect the bite. He put a band-aid over it, then rummaged around until he found a pair of heavy work gloves. He could feel time running out. It was 2:11 now. He got another mouse out and pushed it through backward all the way and hurried across to Portal 2. The mouse lived for almost 2 minutes. It even walked a little after a fashion. It staggered across the Pomona orange crate, fell on its side, struggled weakly to its feet, then only squatted there. Karun snapped his fingers near its head, and it lurched perhaps 4 steps further before falling on its side again. The aspiration of its side slowed, stopped. It was dead. Karun felt a chill. He went back, got another mouse, and pushed it halfway through, head first. He saw it reappear at the other end, just the head, then the neck and chest. Cautiously, Karun relaxed his grip on the mouse's body, ready to grab if it got frisky. It didn't. The mouse only stood there, half of it on one side of the barn, half on the other. Karun jogged back to Portal 2. The mouse was alive, but its pink eyes were glazed and dull. Its whiskers didn't move. Going around to the back of the portal, Karun saw an amazing sight. As he had seen the pencil in a cutaway, so now he saw the mouse. He saw the vertebrae of its tiny spine ending abruptly in round white circles. He saw its blood moving through the vessels. He saw the tissue moving gently, with the tide of life around its minuscule gullet. If nothing else, he thought, and wrote later on his Popular Mechanics article, it would make a wonderful diagnostic tool. Then he noticed that the tidal movement of the tissues had ceased. The mouse had died.